Hi guys, today I'm going to be using Mackie's expertise to do the portion of this necklace that I created that's a little bit more difficult. So she's going to be doing a wrapping of a crystal for us, and then after she's done with that portion of the tutorial, then I will squeeze on in and then finish it up.
Yay, perfect. So excited. I'm gonna put the image up. Taya's gorgeous seaside relic. Seabound relic. So close.
Close enough.
Okay, let's get this down and into this view. Okay. So Taya hired me to get her little filigree wrap. So again, we'll have the ability to probably just create a product on our website that is the upcharge of the artisan made element on our piece in our kit. So if you want to inquire about that, we will be happy to do the more advanced technique for you before your kit comes. Otherwise, you can just do what I'm doing here. So what I've done so far, as I was blabbing, I have taken our chain nose pliers, and right over at the edge of these, you'll be able to see on the prongs, there are 3 openings. So what I had done is actually hold over in between the holes of the 2 openings and created a 90-degree angle. And we did that 4 times. So we cupped our filigree on our own. I have the one side just barely touching down on the crystal. And then I'm going to just go back and forth between each side and tuck that filigree down. I like to work across from each other in order to get everything to sit nicely and tight. Do that again, and then we'll go across from that. And would you like to glue it, or do you want me to glue it?
You can just glue it while you're sitting there.
All right. Then it can be sitting and drying while you do your other stuff.
That's perfect.
Okay, so that's all. So that wrapped loop is, or not wrapped loop, wrapped filigree is looking gorgeous. We've got this stunning vintage component here that I'm going to glue this to, and it's going to become a really insanely incredible layered pendant. So what I do with these sometimes is I'll either add the glue onto this and then stamp it on, or I'll go and hold it and then add the glue from the back. But this time I think I am actually going to hold the jewelry piece, the pendant, sorry, and glue it down. And I believe it's enough to just have the glue on the top and bottom. But if you want to, you can add a little bit more on the sides. And what you're gonna do is just get that down and starting to fuse to your filigree. And just make sure you have it all centered. It's okay if it wiggles around. Your glue is still wet at this point. So you want to just make sure the top and bottom are lined with that poof there. The petal poof. All right, that's gonna sit up top while Taya finishes her tutorial.
Beautiful.
Yay.
Thank you, Mackie.
You're welcome.
Alrighty, so I kind of want to be able to show this necklace piece as well here. So we're just going to scooch this over to the side, and then we can see the full component. So we have some freshwater pearls, we have some genuine stones, these little green guys right here. I forget what they're called, forgive me. And then of course we have that filigree piece and the beautiful pendant that Mackie did. So I wanted to say this is doable for beginners. I've done it. It just takes a long time. This one, I actually started, and then I just had Mackie line up these 2 pieces for me. So I think it's kind of nice that we were able to have an expert and a beginner doing these tutorials so you can kind of get an idea of what it takes, because if I can do it, you can do it. And then I have this one over here that we did earlier, and you can see very, very sturdy. I just pushed really hard to get that to pop, but obviously you won't be doing that. So it is doable, it just takes a little bit of practice. Alrighty, and I'm gonna scooch this way. Okay, and you can't actually see, maybe I can just go like that. I've laid out the components of the necklace portion. So this is the earrings that you probably saw before I scooched the mat over. These I'm keeping separate for the time being just because there are so many little pieces that we want to keep together. All right, so this is what you're going to be using for the necklace. Here I have actually pre-cut these before doing the tutorial just because it does take a bit of time. But what you'll get in your kit is this really, really long piece of chain, just like that. And so the lengths that I've chosen to do, this is definitely personal preference, so whichever you would prefer as far as length goes for a necklace. I've chosen to do up here for these two. Oh, I guess you can't see that. Let me show you. There we go. So for these two, I've chosen to do only 9. So that's going to be all of these. And then also same length for those ones as well. And then for this one down here, I chose to do, this one is our longest one. So this is 13 links, which is just up here in the corner. And then down here, we have, it doesn't really look like it because they're all bent together, but our shortest one that I used just right there. So then those I chose to do about, I believe it was like 11, or one of our shorter ones. So I think this one was 11 lengths, that one's 9, and then that one's 13. But again, up to you, personal preference, however you'd like the length to look. Okay, so because we've already snipped those all out, I'm just gonna go ahead and start creating these beautiful pendant type bead runs that I've done. And I can start with the easiest one and then kind of work my way up. Okay, so in your kit, you're going to be getting 2 of these size head pins, and then you'll be getting 5 of these size head pins. So for the little ones, I'm going to grab our pearls here, freshwater pearls. Just going to add that there, and then I'm going to bend this portion so it's nice and tight there, just like that. And again, I guess maybe not again for this video, but if it's not matching the way that if we bend in the end, it's okay because we can always fix it. Grab my trusty pliers here, and I'm just going to use this portion that we can to cut, and I'm just going to cut up until right about there, so you can get a little bit of a feel for it. I'm going to grab it right here. Then using these as a base, I'm not moving this guy, I'm just moving the bead over like that. And then to kind of get an idea of where I'm at, I'm going to flip it this way. So you can see, line it up again, and then I'm just going to finish it. And tighten. And I like to use these guys to tighten just because I feel like it's quite a bit easier to get that than with those smaller ones. Okay. I'm gonna grab that and twist so that they're lined up on the same size. And you can tell that this size is actually a little bit smaller than this side. Not by too much, but if that's something that bugs you, just leave a little bit more on that end when you're snipping. So we're gonna do that twice. I'll just do it again here. Probably don't need to talk you through the second time. Okay. And it looks like the pearl that I've chosen, actually, sometimes that happens with real pearls. They will not fit through just because they weren't processed all the same. Can you grab me a new pearl? Yes. Thank you. Okay, while Mac is grabbing that for me, I'm just gonna slide this through this one. And also, I'm realizing it could also be a bend in this. Sometimes that happens as well if these aren't totally straight, that's okay. Do you want to grab 2 of those for me? Just try and straighten that out a bit. It could also just be my headpin is not straight enough. So I'll try that. And if it doesn't work, would you mind grabbing me another headpin?
Yeah.
Or eye pin rather?
Figure these out for the kits will be fine.
Yeah. Okay. So I did feel a lot of resistance right where that bend was, but that's okay because we could push it through. Thanks, Mac.
Yeah.
She's the best. Okay, and then we're gonna do the same thing here. Get it from this way and tighten.
Pardon my reach, I'm just gonna charge this one for you.
Thank you.
Yes. 4%.
Oh my gosh. Good catch, Mac. That's crazy. Alrighty. I'm gonna move on to the next one that we've used with the pearl. And for this, I'm gonna grab this little bead here. String that through. Add a little hishi bead. And it's okay if it looks loose. Adding another bead on top is gonna keep it tight after we've created the jump ring. Or I guess I should say the eye pin. Okay, sorry, I'm just struggling. A lot of times you can work these through. So while you're there, can you cut me another pearl? Sometimes if they don't budge, it's not even worth trying. If you end up having that issue, we're gonna check them before we kit them. But if you end up finding that that's an issue, just let me know and we can do 2 things to help fix it. We can grab some pearl pins that you can use that will fit through basically anything, just because they're a lot tinier, or we can send you some new ones if they're still available. So you're just gonna push that down like that, and then mimicking what we've done down here, you can grab another hishi bead, just like that. Grab the other blue bead that will be in your kit, and that's how it's gonna look. Alrighty, and then you're gonna bend, and I wanna make sure that I don't bend where the bead is. My hands are a little bit sweaty right now from doing this all day, so if you...
And it's especially hot.
It's actually so hot in here. So, yeah, but if you don't have sweaty hands, it'll be a lot easier, I promise. Okay, just like that. And this one, it's kind of a silly one, but because of how we've hung this guy down here, this bead is actually going to be opposite. So you can see how both of our loops are facing the same direction for these ones. It's going to be the same thing throughout the entire kit except for with this pendant. Because the reason we want to do that is so that this entire thing lays flat. So if you can kind of see, this one is shaped like this, and this one down to the bottom is laying flat. So that's what we're going to do here. And even if for whatever reason you accidentally do it perfectly and line it up really well, totally okay, you can always change. You can always change it up. We're just gonna wrap. Go back this way. I think I probably would have cut just a tiny bit more because this is bigger than I wanted it to be. But again, it doesn't super matter because it will be hanging like this. Okay, so I'm just gonna hold this one tight down here and make this one turn more that way. Just like that. Right, so now we have all of those. I believe we have 4 more of these to do. I might be wrong. Okay, so we're gonna start on our next one, and this one we're gonna start with purple. I don't know if you can see it up here, but I'll just scooch this over on the camera. Whoop. These are my favorite ones right here. The purple and this like seafoam green. You do need to be careful with those seafoam green beads because that is a vintage bead. So it's a really good glass bead. I was thinking that it was a genuine stone, but it was actually a vintage glass bead and it breaks. So you just want to be a little bit more gentle with this one. I'm gonna add the Hishi bead on top just like that. And then you're just gonna bead that guy through just like that. Really cute. Alrighty. And then I'm just gonna do the same technique that we've been doing. Use my fingers if you have long nails. Use your nails to keep it straight. A lot easier. I do not. I'm gonna clip. It's always better to clip less than more because you can always clip more. So if you're a beginner like me, probably don't be so excited with the clippers like I am sometimes because I end up regretting it more often than not. But I am just gonna clip a tiny bit more here, like that. Now I'm gonna pinch. I probably want to make this a little bit further down. Pinch like that. Come back to this side so I can see what I'm doing. And just finish it. Alrighty. This one is actually pretty straight and flat. Did okay with that. And we're just gonna repeat the process for the other side. String in the purple here. Just like that. Take our last of the Hishi beads, at least for the necklace component. String that through. And then our glass. Okay. Wipe my nose really quick, sorry. Don't want to be sniffling too much. Okay. And the exact same process. We're going to make sure that these are nice and tight here. Hopefully I'm showing you the right portion of the camera. Grab these guys and clip. Tiny bit more, I think. It'd be a little bit big. I'll do a tiny bit more. All right, same process. Maybe around. See where you're at, and then flip it towards yourself just so that you can see how you're closing it. And sometimes it's a little bit open like that. That's okay. You just tighten. Just like that. All right, and you can see that these are laying opposite directions, so I'm just gonna go hold one tight and turn the other one around. Perfect. And then if it's not perfect or whatever, we can always swap it out later. Okay, so we have 2 more that we're gonna create. And this one, we're gonna start with these really pretty blue. I don't know if you can tell, but that's one of my favorite colors. You string this vintage bead right over the top like this. And then we're gonna add one more. And that's it for that top component. And just the exact same process here. My hands are getting more and more sweaty, so forgive me if it's not as clear as my hands are slipping around. Okay, and clip a little bit more here. Just like that. Bring this around. And just gonna tighten it with this one. straighten it out, make sure it's all good. Okay, super easy. And the last one that we're going to be using our head pins for, eye pins, I mean. Sometimes I get those confused. I don't know why, because this clearly looks more like an eye than the other one does. Alrighty. Same deal. I'm just going to put my thumb here and bend. Just like that. A tiny bit more. And if this isn't the way that you do your loops, that's okay. Do the way that is easiest for you. This is just the way that I've learned and that stuck in my brain. Again, I am very new to jewelry making. I've been doing this for about, I guess, a year. I guess you could technically say 2 years, but I have not been doing it super consistently up until this last year. Okay, scooch those guys all aside. And then before I start connecting and cutting, I'm gonna do one more little artisan portion. This guy right here, I wanted it to kind of look like a seashell or a mermaid's tail, just to go with the theme of the rest of the necklace. And to achieve this, I'm going to be using 2 paints. Well, one's a stain and one's an iridescent, but this is what it's going to look like when you get it. We have my favorite stain. It doesn't say the name on the side of it because this is just the one that I use all the time. This is the elderberry stain, and we can have somebody link that in the description or the comments, depending on where you're watching this. I'm just going to shake it up a little bit. You don't need a lot, but the stains do come out a little bit quicker. So I'm just going to put that, actually, first I'm going to, you can use a head pin for this or an eye pin, but I like to use this really pretty thing. Just because I kept it open, so dried up a tiny bit. All right, so it comes out pretty fast. You're just gonna do a little drop, just like that. And then starting with the dry brush, this is our technique that we use to make very brassy toned metals become more natural brass or more antique brass, however you want to say that. But it helps kind of match the rest of this necklace a little bit better because there's not really any super bright brass goldy tones, and so I want to change that tone there. And even if just from the look of it right now you're like, oh, I don't really see a difference, where you can tell the difference is when you flip it. So we got this, see that, and then that. So it is pretty cool. I'm going to also do the back end as well, and just a tiny bit there, maybe even too much, but you're just gonna buff it. And this is easiest I found on a dry brush. And then I would like the top to be a little bit more purpley, like that elderberry color. If you just want it to be more antique brass or natural brass, you don't need to add another layer. You can even buff it and it'll just tone it out for you. But I do like the purpley look as it pertains to this pendant for this necklace. So just like that, I'm gonna wipe my brush a little bit, and then I'm gonna use our iridescent green. Just gonna wash that brush. We can also get this one linked as well. You can get them separately, or you can buy them in little kits that we've cultivated over the years. There's beautiful paints and stains and metallics that I think, and everybody thinks goes really well together here at Vintage. Gonna use this guy again. Oop. Okay, and this one I'm just gonna set to the side here. Just like that. Make sure my brush doesn't have any more purple or elderberry. I'm gonna pick all that up and just dab it in. And that, I guess that wasn't on camera, sorry about that. Just gonna dab that in just like like how that looks, but I kind of took off some of the elderberry, so instead I am going to dump it on top to make it a thicker look for this one. Just because I really like this iridescent, and I can always buff some of it out or pick it up with the edge of a paper towel. Honestly, whichever you prefer. And I think I'm going to bring it up a little bit too because I like the gradual look. Okay, and there we have that. So I'm going to set that aside to dry just up here. Don't have a wipe with me, but this comes off so amazing on the silicone pads, which if you'd like one of these silicone pads, they're super freaking convenient for paint and designing, and we could probably also link that either down in the description or in the comments depending on what you're watching. Alrighty, so now that we have all of our little baby components assembled for the necklace at least, we're going to start connecting things. So I'm going to put those right up there. And this is the finished, you can kind of see up in the viewfinder potentially. Maybe you can't. You can see my hairy arm though. This is the finished necklace that we're going to be using and that you'll get with your kit. So how I like to do this, I like to pull it straight like that. And then you're going to get your little side cutters. Let me make sure that this is actually on screen here. Okay, pull it straight so that the lobster clasp is directly diagonal to this section right here. And where did I put those guys? Side cutters? Yeah, do you know where those went?
Oh, I can.
They just disappeared on us.
Oh, sorry, I was gonna cut your
Oh,
pearls for you.
thank you. Alrighty, and then I can tell that this guy laying this direction, see if you can even see that. There's just one, when you pull it tight, that will be laying horizontally rather than vertically. And that's the one that you'll want to cut. If you're a perfectionist, you can always measure it with a ruler, which is not hard. These are also soldered, each individual link, so it might take a little bit to cut. Oh, I think we need some new side cutters. Is that okay? Can you have you grab that for me? Alrighty. There we go. Alright, so that's going to be the base. And if this is too long for you, I probably personally don't think that I would wear it this long. Let's see if I can show you in the little corner camera that we have up there. I don't think I'd want to wear this one this long, but if you do, you can leave the chain just like that. If you don't, you can just snip right up here. I'll show you down here. You can just snip a little section right there. And then that way, if you wanted to use it to make this portion longer, you could do that as well. It's very, very customizable. So whatever you prefer, I say go for it. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave it at the link that it's at currently. Then I'm gonna start taking our little jumpy rings. These are JR10s. This is the only jump ring that you'll be needing in this entire kit. And I'm just gonna move my mat a little bit this way so you can see everything I'm doing. I'm just gonna grab your link. Thank you, my love. Grab your link just like that. And then we started out with these ones, so I'm just gonna loop that down. And tighten. Grab another one. There should be 15 in this entire kit if I remember counting correctly. But it's always good to remake the kits so we know if there's anything that we're missing or that you might need. Just in case, it's always nice to have those. So you're just gonna link that through and tighten. Okay, and now for the fun part. I thought this was fun. It's a little bit meticulous, but not the only reason it is because of how small these guys are. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab one of these pre-cut links that I've done. And this one again was 9 links if you wanna count it. It's totally up to you how you would like to do it though. You can make it longer, shorter. And so the only reason that this is a little bit tricky is because of their size. So I think what I'm gonna do, start out with an open jump ring. And this first one you hang is pretty easy because it doesn't need to be perfect or line up with anything. All you gotta do is hang it on there. And to make these thicker and to just add to the look that I went with, we're doing 2 on 1 hoop, just like that. And while this jump ring's open, I'm just gonna link it through that bottom one right there. And tighten. And then we're gonna do that exact same thing. Grab another one of our JR10s. Open that up. Link it through. Grab 2. Make sure that that's visible really quick. Okay. Might be going in and out of focus, but it's not too difficult of a thing to figure out. And then loop it through that bottom one. Boom. Okay, so that's what we got going so far. Alrighty, so the next one that I did was just a single pearl. And you can also rearrange this to whatever one you prefer, anyone that you think looks a little bit better. In the order, I mean. Okay, I'm gonna grab that jump ring. I'm gonna open it up a little bit wider because this is the part that is a little bit tiny bit more meticulous. And so the way I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna show you up in this corner here. The way I do it to make sure that it's even, I hold it and let it hang so that I can see that neither of them are twisted apart. And I know which one to start with. I know which one's left easily and I know which one's right. And then I can just super easy swing those through and make sure that the chain is straight. Just like that. And while I have it open, I'm just gonna go ahead and put that freshwater pearl down, just like that. I find my little sound effects, sometimes I do that. Okay, perfect. So now we're gonna do that exact same thing. Grab, I'm just gonna look in this viewfinder, make sure I can clearly show what I'm doing. Open that JR10, and I'm gonna try doing it underneath here, so let's see. You can kind of tell what I'm doing. So I'm gonna let it hang. Make sure it's all lined up. Make sure I can tell which one's left and which one's right. And then just swing it through. I think that might be focusing on something else, but alrighty. I'm gonna grab that pearl and close them. Perfect. Okay, so that's what that is looking like so far. Just like that, and I'm holding it not even, but they are far more even than it's appearing to be. Alrighty, so next we're gonna grab another one of these JR10s. Yeah, sometimes these are so good, it's so hard to find the seam. Alrighty, and I'm gonna grab this. So you can lay this way or this way. I've laid it this way in the past. I don't know, should I do it? I kind of like the green first. I kind of like that, so I'm gonna go ahead and stick with it. Loop that through, and loop that through. Super, super simple and easy. I'm gonna close up that jump ring at the top there. And then this bottom one, we're gonna have to open up in a sec. I'll try to do this other side. Just like that. Put that through. And put that through. Okay. go. Perfect, this is looking so good. Alrighty, so for this next portion, we're gonna be hanging another section of the chain. I believe that these are all the same size. They got a little bit tangled up, so I'm just gonna quickly double check that these are all 9 links. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9. These ones are 10. 1 second. All my little links that I laid out got pushed together. Pretty sure these are all my 13s. Okay, yeah, we're good. Okay, so now I'm going to open up one of the loops that we've done, just like that. And this I found is easier to use with my fingers rather than a tool, just because it is such a tiny chain. And you're just gonna link it through. And again, this first one, it doesn't actually matter if it looks even or good. It's only the bottom one that will actually matter. I'm gonna grab this guy, just like that. Put them both through, and then I'm just gonna close up this loop that we've done. Just like that. Put it at an angle so I can tighten it a little bit. My hands are getting sweaty again, guys. I apologize. Okay, just like that. Perfect. And then we're gonna do that same thing again, but on the other side. Okay. Grab our link. Push that through. We get a little bit of keyboard ASMR in the back, hopefully. Hopefully you love that. I actually do. I really like the way that keyboard tapping sounds. Okay, so it looks like these are 2 different chain sizes that I grabbed. So I'm gonna take that one off. Oh, found it. Put the wrong link on that one. Alrighty. Take bend that. Hopefully you can see that okay. I'm just gonna hold this up and make sure that's the same length. It's not. Done it again. Okay. That's okay. When you're watching the tutorial, you can skip through this part up until I can find the right chain links that I've set aside for all of these. Pushed them up in a ball, and that was just kind of a bad idea. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that one's a long one. Looks like this one. No one there. Okay, I found it. It only took me however long that took me, a million years. Alrighty. Put that through here. Let's see. And then that one. Those ones are the same size. Yay, we did it. Perfect. Alrighty. I'm just gonna count before I start linking. That one will go there. There. I wonder if I lost my other ones somewhere, because these ones are my long ones.
I could have grabbed a chain.
I have a chain. I just don't know where I put those other ones.
Oh, you have like the actual chain. You could just make more.
Yeah, let's do it. Very strange. It could be that I'm just frazzled from doing this all day and you're probably watching it and like, they're right there. But I do appreciate your patience with me. Hopefully you can just skip right through this. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut. Off this guy because I lost the two other ones that I'd cut. Or maybe I just thought I cut them and I didn't, but alrighty. And we want it to be even with this side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's what we're using here. So we're just gonna do the same. And then you cut on 12. They're so tiny sometimes, it's like I feel like I need a double, triple count just to make sure that the necklace isn't uneven. We'll just do the same thing here. This way it's a little bit easier to line it up. I'm just gonna cut on 12. All right, there we go. Now we can finally finish this section. That's probably gonna be like the longest part of this whole tutorial, so sorry about that, guys. Alrighty. Gonna leave that over. And this is why I mentioned it's a little bit meticulous, just because it's so tiny. Okay, yay! I've done it. I think this is my first time doing it or something. Alrighty, perfect. Okay, those are looking good. So next is a pretty fun part. We're gonna attach the pendant that was shown at the very beginning of the live. Go like this. And then I like to sitting this way. You could also make it sit that way, but I kind of like just the up and down look. And I'm just gonna set it in there. So from this middle portion, you can see there's like 1, 2 little loops, and I'm gonna do it just on the third. And I can see here that this side has a little bit more, so I'm actually gonna pick a different side and just do this one. So this one you can see has 3 holes there. I'm gonna pick that one. Just like that. And then same deal as before, we're gonna hang these so that we can tell which side it's on, that it's even. Hopefully you can see in the little top corner. Once you hang the right, you can just go ahead and hang the left. Right over jump ring. It looks like I need to hold a little bit more space on the jump ring. So we're gonna rotate it like that. Grab this piece again. And we're gonna hang that one as well. Now we can go ahead and close this. Just like that. And you're just going to do the same on this side. And I think it'll actually be easier to hang the chains on there before we attach it to the pendant, so I'm just going to do that really quick, because that took a little bit of time to do that. Just like this.
Do you mind if I use this for a sec?
No, go for it. I'm just going to hang that. I want to make sure that this is open enough, so I'm going to grab beadle. So it looks like it might not be as open as I wanted it to. I'm just going to push the filigree out. And you'll know if you can fit even that much of your bead all through that you can fit your jump ring. Hold that here. Looks like I'm going to open that a little bit more. And hang that through. Perfect. Okay, we're more than halfway done now. You could always leave it like this if that's something that you prefer, if you don't want it to have that hanging portion. But to create the hanging portion, we are just going to, and here you can tell that this got a little bit, this like spun around a little bit. I'm not going to fix it on camera just because it is a very easy fix. You're just going to unloop it and then loop it again. But I don't really think that we have a whole ton of time to do that. It looks like I may have used 13s there, 13 links there instead of the 9 that I was doing consistently. So we might run into another issue as we're hanging here at the bottom. I appreciate your patience. But these are the ones that I have on hand right now, so I'm just gonna use them. As long as they're the same size, it should be okay. We got 5, 6, 7. Okay, 13. So many. Okay, and then I'm just gonna hang just diagonal to what I did up there. So you can see, it might not even look diagonal depending on how you're doing it, but it's kind of up to personal preference. So I'm gonna hang in this one and in this one. I can leave them on long enough. Just need to open the jump ring a tiny bit more. And close that. Same with this jump ring. So the cool thing about this necklace is that it really is like the same process over and over again. Okay, those look a little bit longer, so I don't want to use those. So I am going to actually cut some more. Yeah, so it's really nice because you can watch the first half of this tutorial and really understand how to make the entire necklace. Don't mind me really quick as I cut these. Snip. Okay. So that should be the same size as the ones we have earlier. Just gonna hold the jump ring like that. That one there. And that one there. Gonna open it up just a tiny bit. So it looks like that. Grab our pendant. Just gonna hang it through that portion of the vintage filigree. Yay! Alrighty. This is looking pretty good. So everything, those might even be the same size. It looks like there's just 2 links missing on that side. So I will fix that off camera, but just so you know that I know it's not even. We're gonna go like that. Alrighty, and then for this guy, we're on to our last one. Okay, so we're gonna want the flat facing side to be at the bottom and the hanging side at the top. So just like that. And it might be easier to hang the chain first, but I think what I'm gonna do, like if you were to do one side of 2 of the chains in there and then put the pendant through and then doing the other side would be really easy. But hanging it up like that is really, really helpful. So I'm gonna hold and pinch. I hope you could see that in my corner photo there. I'm gonna hold those. And I can tell that this is the left one. So I'm gonna stick that guy through. And I can tell this is the right one because it's hanging straight. I'm gonna stick that guy through. I hope you can see that. It's really, really tiny, but basically you're just stringing it all together on this jump ring. And you tighten it. Okay. So this is what we got going so far. And when I pull it tight, you can tell which one. It's a little bit funky. But that's a-okay. You can always fix them. Always fix it. Okay. Now onto the easiest portion. Just gonna grab our jump ring. And because I got so mixed up on the links, these are not gonna be identical to the original one that I did. So we'll probably post the original to the finished jewelry section on our live shop if anybody's interested in getting that. I'm just gonna link this through the bottom here. And then for our last jump ring, I'm gonna do the same technique. So you're gonna open your jump ring and let the chain hang. I hope you can see this in the top right corner. So you're just gonna let it hang like that. Then use gravity to help line yourself up. And I know my hand's kind of hiding it, but it's easier to let it rest on the palm of your hand so that you can slide You're bring through those tiny baby links. Just like that. All right, so now that we got those in there, we're just gonna go ahead and add our pendant. That's all dry. It actually dried quite a while ago, but it took me a minute to get to this point, and that's okay. Because you know what? I'm a beginner and everybody's gotta start somewhere, right? And if I can do it, you can do it. Alrighty. And that is a finished necklace. Woot woot. Off camera, I'm gonna make sure that everything is lined up well, and you can do that as well. It's not gonna be difficult to take that apart. It's super, super easy. And then with the kit, I'm gonna try and do this as quickly as possible so you don't have to suffer through too much. We're gonna make these beautiful earrings. And these are actually the easiest earrings I think I've ever made. So really, we already know how to loop these through the jump rings. It's just the same chain. So the only thing that I really am going to walk you through that's different, also it's very easy to hang those. You're just gonna loop it through that tiny bit right there. Very, very simple. So the only thing I'm gonna show you that's a new beginner concept is gonna be this. So I'm gonna grab my stone, my glass vintage bead. That's the same one that we used at the top. I'm gonna hang that through on a head pin. And then I'm gonna grab 2 Heishi beads. And these will all come with your kit. Lay those on top like that. And I'm gonna bend. So I'm gonna hold my fingernail over this right here. I'm gonna bend forward with this, with my pliers, and pull backwards with my hand. So I'm gonna go like this. Just like that. And then if you want it to be tighter, you can always use your finger to push it down and make it tighter. And then what I'm gonna do is grab these guys. And I think I'm gonna hold it this way and start this way. And this is another thing, I literally just learned how to do this yesterday, or 2 days ago, I think. So if you don't get it, it's actually the easiest thing to fix. So you're basically just gonna be wrapping this guy around. So you're gonna loosen, so you can wrap it, and you wanna keep it to the side of the first one that you wrapped. So you wanna keep it in the same spot the whole time as far as the width of the barrel goes. But you're just gonna wrap it down. And this I actually didn't trim, but if you want it to be shorter like the ones I did originally, you just trim the excess off, very similar to the way that we did it earlier, but I kind of wanted to see what it would look like if I did more of a wrapping style here. Alrighty. So I kind of like the way that looks. Just like that. And if you wanted it to look more like this, you do the exact same technique, except for you trim off. After you put them down, you trim off about this much excess. So just like that. But I kind of wanted to see what it would look like hanging. So then we're just going to grab this guy. Just like this. Add both of our wires here. Add that through there. Yeah, that's like one of my favorite things about these kits, is you can personalize it so much, and even if you mess up or don't do it the way that I originally did it in the first kit, it's not even a mess up. It's your kit. This is just inspo, unless you need help with the techniques, which I do. So totally okay. And then we're just gonna wrap that through. the same way that we did the other one. So let it hang like that, so we know which one should go in first. Perfect. And then just gonna grab our ear wire. Hang that through. So there's one way you can do it to make it hang a little bit more. And then I'm just gonna demonstrate one more thing before I say goodbye to you. Just in case you're wanting to know how to make it tighter, like I did in the original one. Again, grab that stone, glass bead, and I'm just gonna clip like right there. I'm gonna hold it down here, pull back this way, just like that. And then while I'm here, then I can see that I actually want it shorter. Like this. Just that same technique that we did for that other one. I want to make sure that we keep it to the side. And there we have the shorter version. And then you can do the exact same thing here. Hang it on your earring. And that's the rest of it. Alrighty. So this is just a reminder. This is our kit. And we can go ahead and find this on our live shop. It's Live Shop Idaho, or ID rather, at Vintage Live Shop Idaho. ID.com. So sorry, my brain is a little frazzled now, but I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm gonna try and find, let's see if I can't change it so that it just sits here. Alrighty, well that's in, it's in the corner. I don't really see where, there we go. There we go. Alrighty guys, I appreciate you so much. This was my first, basically my first like real tutorial of something that I was doing start to finish. So thank you so much for the time that you spent to watch it. And I hope that it was clear for you guys, and I hope that you enjoyed the kit that I designed. So have a great rest of your day. Do you want to say goodbye now?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, for anyone who stuck around and watched through these tutorials, thank you so much. And
You deserve a reward.
yes, it was our first week of doing this, and so we'll be, you know, tweaking and stuff like that, and
Getting faster.
yeah, whatever. It's been great. But thank you guys so much, and yeah, this is something fun that you can look forward to. You can always hop on with us after for the second portion if you're newer to jewelry making, and if not, you can always just hang around. We'll be quiet around the second portion since we're running it more like a YouTube video or a tutorial. But if you noticed, Sawyer was commenting, and whoever is not on camera, we can comment to too.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah,
And
first
then
week was good.
These are gonna be all clipped and shortened, so it won't be a 2-hour video like it is on Facebook, but we're gonna be clipping all of these videos and then posting them, uploading them to YouTube, and then we're gonna put a link at the bottom of our descriptions on each of our jewelry pieces, and then that's where you'll be able to click the link and find a tutorial for just the jewelry component that you're looking for.
Yeah.
So thank you guys again
Yay,
for
thank you
sticking
so
with us.
much.
You deserve a reward if you're still here.
Yay, guys, thank you.
And have a lovely rest of your Wednesday.
Bye.
Bye.